Welcome, everybody. We are live at the Win Government Contract podcast here, and it's exciting to see everybody here. I see Vicky, you're in white today. Is that to celebrate one of your first proposal you submitted? Is that it?
It has to be. I didn't think it was going to take that long because it was simple, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes. But we'll talk a little bit more about your first proposal that you submitted in a second here. But for all of you joining us, we also have a new coaching company that is joining us today. His name is Thaddeus Smith, and he'll have a chance to introduce himself in a second. For all of you joining us live on our social platforms, welcome to the Win Government Contract podcast. My name is Abraham. I am your host. I'm also the coach during this time here. Now, what this is a live coaching session, and we are coaching two companies, Vicky and Thaddeus's company, live to all of you. So if you are joining us, welcome. And there's two components to this here. The first part of this here is I will be helping Vicky and Thaddeus's company. And then the second part of this here is will be open to all of you, where you can ask questions, you can get some feedback about where you are as a company, and you can get help as well. If you are watching this on a replay, please join us live if you want the real interaction. If you're watching replay, also leave some comments. If you have questions, we do make every effort to answer every single question that you leave in the comments. And if you have other questions that you want to address in future podcasts, let us know as well. So with that said, we are going diving in today, and so we have our two entrepreneurs, Vicky and Thaddeus. So Vicky, you want to start off by sharing a little about, reminding everybody who you are, a little about you, your business, and where are you in the government contracting journey. And after that, we'll go to our next guest that's with us today.
Thank you, Abe. My name is Vicky Bang. My company is Alpha Professional Services, and uh, we do service actually, management training, business management, uh, human resources. Where we are at this point is Abe actually helped us, and he's also, I don't know if I can say this, teaming with us on a contract. And we're just waiting to hear back. It was a long day on Friday, but we're just waiting to hear back from uh, the the who are they?
The
The
organization,
people
yeah.
who have the,
Mhm.
yeah. And so
And
that's
we'll
where we're
take a
at.
second if you're joining us. Yeah, if you're joining us, we're going to deconstruct that a little bit and to see what that looks like and how that process is. And so we'll be talking about Vicky's first proposal that she submitted. And this is what this is all about, right? We're talking about government contracting, but it's not theories, it's not pie in the sky. It's about real practical things that you as a business owner can learn and apply to your own companies. So we'll be deconstructing that bid that Vicky submitted in teaming with GCA. We'll talk about that in a second. And then we also have our other entrepreneur with us, and his name is Thaddeus Smith. And so, Thaddeus, glad that you're able to join us. And I see that you got your camera on, so that's great. You want to share a little about who you are and a little about your business and where you are in the government contracting journey.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you for having me. Thank you for bringing me along this journey. My name is Thaddeus Smith. I am the president and founder of TS Enterprise Group. It is a government contracting firm that specializes in solving many of the government's needs and concerns. We specialize in an array of different business ventures, from facility support services to transportation, as well as IT related services. The company is very new as we start this journey, and we're just so grateful and thankful to have a person as such as yourself guiding us through this journey.
Absolutely. Well, Thaddeus, I'm glad that you're part of this coaching session here, and welcome to these sessions. All of you joining us live, thank you for joining us. I see that some of you, if you could put in where you are and put your company names in the chat area so I can kind of have an idea of who's with us today. As we talk through different things, I may be able to cater more specific content to you. So in the chat area, just kind of leave, maybe your company name and where you're from. It's good to know that. With that, I'm going to dive in, and let's start off by deconstructing Vicky's first proposal. Now, Vicky, you and I, we've been talking for about you've been in the certified capture manager program for about 3 months, but we've been doing these coaching sessions for about a month and a half now. And so with that, tell me, how did you find the opportunity? And then let's start there, and then we'll take this back. And then ultimately what I'm going to do is I'm going to show everybody what the opportunity looked like. I will show everybody how we responded to it, and I'll show everybody the final proposal that we submitted, and so that everybody can learn through this process here.
All righty, Abe. First of all, I just wanted to thank Abe and my study partners and some of my classmates, I guess, for actually encouraging me, because when how I found this is through going to an event. And I actually, the night before, I got cold feet, just like getting married or whatever. And I didn't want to go. I was just like, but I there's still some items on the table that was not done. And I didn't really feel like I was ready to go. But Abe was like, just go ahead and go. It's about relationship. And when I went, they actually, I took what I had. My business card was done. The capability statement was done. And I was at the SBA table talking to a gentleman there. And I was introduced to this nonprofit organization that had a contract. And so that's how I found the proposal, or the what? Yes.
Yep, the bid opportunity. Yep. Okay, well, good. So that's a little backdrop. Sometimes you go to different places, different networking event, different resources that you're going to, and you never know what you're going to discover, right? And so it pays to kind of pay attention a little bit and to be open. And you share that you were a little bit, unsure whether you should go, maybe a little bit like, man, I don't know if I should attend this event. I'm glad you did, though. And so giving everybody a little bit more background on this, it's more of a grant opportunity versus a contract opportunity. Let me take a quick second to kind of clarify the difference between grants and contracts. Grants is for mainly, I would say 99% of all grants is awarded to nonprofit organizations. There are a few type of grants that's awarded to for-profit organization, and this is one of those type of grants there. It's a training opportunity. Now, contracts, 99.9% of contracts are awarded to for-profit organizations. So that's really the difference, right? Grants, nonprofit, contracts, for-profit. All of you joining us today, I see some of you, you're joining us from all over the place. From Vegas to Atlanta to Chicago, all throughout the country. You as a business owner, it depends on what type of services and opportunities you have. You can decide that, there are some grants out there. And in what Vicki and I are talking about here is a grant for-profit organizations. And in a future session, we'll talk about that, how to find grant opportunities. But I want to take this opportunity here to talk about this specific grant. So the state of Minnesota had a surplus of about multi-billion, probably like $2 billion or more in terms of surplus. So as a budget, they said, you know what, let's take that $2 billion and let's do some good with that money. So they used that $2 billion, they gave it to different organizations, they use it to stimulate the economy, do many different things with it. From that, they took $1 million and they gave it to the Minnesota Hmong Chamber of Commerce. Now, the Hmong community is a small ethnic community from the country of Laos, but the Hmong people are all scattered all throughout Southeast Asia, all around the world. Vicky and I just so happened to belong to the Hmong community. And so the event that she went to was a business outreach event, and the Hmong Chamber of Commerce happened to be there, and they were discussing a opportunity that they wanted someone to come and train Southeast Asian businesses on how to do government contracting, how to set up your business to be successful in the government market, how to get certified as a small business. In GCA, we normally don't bid on contract because our mission is to educate, facilitate, and advocate for small businesses. So we're not necessarily a government contracting organization. So we normally don't bid on contracts. But in the history of GCA, we've been around for about 15 years. We bid on 3 previous projects. Of the 3 projects we bid on, we won 1. So we do it every now and then if it fits what we do here. But this project here, I feel like, or this grant opportunity, it was specifically written for Vicky and myself. So I couldn't say no to it. So we teamed together. We submitted a proposal to it. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to share with what they were looking for and what we ended up doing a little bit. And then we got lots of other content to dive into today. Thaddeus is joining us. So we're going to be talking about his business, getting him ready for government contract as well. For all of you joining us live, again, if you have any questions along this process, we do have a segment later on where you can actually ask questions, and we will specifically address your questions as well. So I'm going to share my screen in a second here. So let me pull up the document, and we're going to take a few seconds to deconstruct what the requirements were and then what we actually ended up submitting, and so that this will be a learning opportunity for some of you. And then Vicky, as we're doing this here, if you could, in your mind, think through what you learned from this process of bidding on this project as well. So let me share my screen. Here it is. All right, so let me break this down, and then in a second, Vicky's going to share what she learned. So what they did was, this is about one of the easier proposals that was submitted for this grant here. And the backdrop is this here. They didn't have a traditional solicitation process. So the chamber, what they did was they just created a Google form, and they said, answer the questions in the Google form. We took 2.5 hours answering all these questions. So it's kind of like, what's your business name? What's your phone number? And, are you a member of the chamber? And it's good to say, are you a paid member? Yes, right? You have to contribute to the community that you're working with. And so we answer all these questions. 2.5 hours later into the process, we realized that the forms couldn't take the level of information that we were giving to them. So it was interesting. But I'm going to talk a little bit about a few things. For some of you, if you're teaming with other companies, there's some very important verbiage in here I want to share with you. So this is the verbiage. The first thing I want to share as we deconstruct this here a little bit is this here. 2 companies are coming together, Alpha Professional Services and the Government Contractors Association, hereafter referred to as the Alpha GCA team. So that's a very important terminology. When multiple companies, whether it's 2 or 3 companies coming together, it's very long. Every time you can't say Alpha professional services, government contractors association. You can't really say that every single time. So you have to summarize it and saying that we will be referred to as the Alpha GCA team. That way, as they read, as the reviewer, the team that's going to review this proposal, they will understand that, okay, when they say Alpha GCA is referring back to these two companies that are coming together. So now they understand, they also understand that the strengths and the past performances are from both companies, not just one company. And so this is one thing that you should borrow similar verbiage for what you're in terms of your proposals that you're submitting when you're teaming with other people. So this is that we propose 4 programs for them, 4 training programs for them as it relates to this year. And then what we did was we just answer all the questions. We went through, answer the questions and what they're asking. And they asked, I think, about 15 questions and so forth. And so we answered all the questions, but here's what happened. The form was not the best way to present the information to them, because in the form, we can't really put images and graphics and different things. So we decided that we're going to actually write a proposal. So we wrote a proposal. And this is the proposal where you actually have the 2 logos up here. Yeah, you put your UEI number in here, and then what the title of the opportunity itself, and who it's being presented to, and who's presenting this year, and then we put our contact information, and then there is a table of content. And now for many of you, formatting the table of content is easy. Some of you, a quick tip in terms of how to create a table of content. You just insert a table of content, but what you want to do is here where it says executive summary, you want to choose at the very top, you want to choose heading 1. And by choosing instead of normal text, by actually saying this is a heading, it will automatically, when you come up here, you click on this, do the table content, it will update it to the exact page of which each one is. So for some of you, you're very familiar with Google Doc and Word, so that's easy. But for some of you, instead of trying to say, oh, what page is the executive summary and what page is this here and so forth, that's one way of how you do it. So we got that. So now we put a 1-page executive summary. They didn't ask for a 1-page executive summary, but this is a great strategy of what you should do when you're submitting a proposal. You want to create a 1-page executive summary so that when the reader reads through it, they quickly see what is it that you're giving to them. And then you go into the different components, section 1. And then we gave a little breakdown of who's going to do what on this here. And we address some of the pain points that we believe that these Southeast Asian businesses have, and we address how we're going to provide a solution for them. So these are the pain points, cultural obstacles in terms of entrepreneurship, and we address these are the solutions that we're giving to them here. And then we go in here, we explain the different programs that we have. So that's really how we submit this year. If we come in here, let me show you one graph, and this is actually important for you guys as you're preparing some proposals for future opportunities that you guys are going after. What I did was I created a chart, and you can see I color coded because we presented 4 programs as a training to this year. So the first program is the yellow. We call this here the partner program. So everything in yellow is what they receive for this first initiative. The second program is called the readiness program, which is this here, the bronze here. And then the third program is the CCM program, which is the green. And then the 4th program is the business incubator, which is the pink here. And then all of this here, everybody leads to a culmination of a graduation for everybody, regardless of which programs you're in, everybody graduates. So that's really the approach that we took. We broke down that as companies come and start to say, we want to receive support to help our organization get ready to do government work, we identify that there's going to be micro businesses and there's going to be small to mid-sized businesses. So micro businesses are new startups or businesses that pre-revenue or maybe very little revenue. They're not government ready yet. We give them resources to help them. Companies that are a little bit more established, have more resources, we give them all the resources, but we also give them two options to be in two different programs. So that's that's a little high level overview of what we did. The overall proposal is about 32 pages. And since we're talking about this, 33 pages total. And then we put the resumes and the supporting documents in the back here. When you're writing proposals, here's what you want to consider. Every page of your proposal, plan about 1 hour per page. Did you guys catch that? Every proposal you submit, if you're trying to think, man, how long is this going to take? It's going to take about 1 hour per page. And because it requires thought, it requires you to illustrate this here and putting graphs together. There's lots of different tools out there you can use in terms of graphs. What I use to create this graph here, is a tool called Lucid Chart. There's many other tools that you can use. If you just go to Lucid Chart actually is free for many of, they have a free account. And so you can do almost everything you need on Lucid Chart. And so you can come on here and let me go back to the home page. So you can see I create a lot of different graphs. And when you're preparing your proposal, give them a graph because it helps explain what you're doing a lot easier. So I'm just going to use a new blank document here. And let me show you how easy it is to explain what you're doing. So you just drag this here and drag a few things. And this is a decision. You can follow the decision thing. You don't have to. So for example, I can say the process go from here. I can just quickly do an arrow and it goes to here. I can come in here and I can color it. And I can, make it nice and pretty very quickly here. And so use this here, right? This is very powerful. You can use this to create organizational chart. You can use it to create processes. If you can make this thicker if you want, just come in here and choose. If you want to make it the arrow bi-directional, you can, make it bi-directional. So now I've just turned it into where it's bi-directional. So lots of things you can do with this here. So with that, that's a little bit of deconstructing the proposal that Vicky and GCA submitted. We should find out in about 2 weeks. So Vicky, you might, your first proposal, you might be a winner. Woo! So, all right. So let's come back. So we've been talking about getting your business ready. And sometimes your business is not fully ready yet, but you want to get as ready as you can. But it's okay to still practice and submit proposals together. And so that's what Vicky did. So we've been covering a few things. So we've been at this here for almost 2 months now, a month and a half. Actually, 2 months now, exactly. So we skipped 1 week because we had a family emergency. So today is 5/22/24. Oops. And we track the work that we do every week. So we use a tool called Smartsheet, which is part of the GovAssociation resources. If you're interested in learning more about the tool that we're using here, go to govfasttrack.com. If you could put that link on the chat, govfasttrack.com, it talks about the tools that we're using here. So we've been talking about getting your business ready and connecting your website and creating your capability um, script and so forth. So Andre, in a little bit, we're going to talk about your business. But right now, Vicky, one thought, before I go into this, I think I mentioned earlier that I wanted you to share what your lessons learned from submitting this proposal here. So let's start with that there. What did you learn in your first proposal submission here, Vicky?
Well, I learned about teaming, and that's something that we learned during the training. As a business owner, and I've been in business for a long time, I only knew joint ventures, coming together, two companies coming together, and then creating a business. I didn't know that there was teaming capability. And one of the biggest takeaway is I've learned this when I was working for the airlines, but I see how important it is when you actually apply this into other areas besides just the airlines. Pre-planning. I believe that giving yourself plenty of time is a good thing because, like Abe said, last minute, when we went to submit our proposal, everything on the layout was different. It had changed. Excuse me. So we had to back up and then do it a different way. So always pre-plan in advance.
Yeah, we finished the proposal. It's due Friday midnight. We finished the proposal at 7 p.m. Eastern. We said, "Oh, we got 5 hours. Let's just, easy submission." It took us 2.5 hours to submit that proposal using their system of how they wanted to be submitted. And so by the time it was said and done, it was like 9:30 before we were able to submit that proposal to the chamber. And so if you waited till you had like 5 minutes left, if we waited till we have 5 minutes left, we would have wasted 2-3 weeks of proposal writing because we would have submitted late. And there was another thing that happened on their end. They changed a few things. The original form they had, they removed some of the questions. And then like they had a question is, can you come and train the businesses on AI? Well, this wasn't that type of project, right? But so they removed that. And so there's a few things that they changed in the final few minutes, and their submission form actually disappeared. But luckily, we actually saved the form. The form on their website disappeared, but the form was still active on Google. So there are some things, you always anticipate a potential issue, but you never know what's going to happen. So there are some important lessons there. All right, so with that, let's come back, and we been talking about your website. So now I believe your website is up and going, Vicky.
Yes, it is. It's working.
All right, let's look at it. Let's do the grand reveal here. alphapromn.com, right?
That is correct.
Yay. Okay. All right. So you actually use, a little pop up here. You've got your phone number, information, and tell us how you created this image here.
I didn't want to go and grab some image off of just any site. So I actually used Chat GPT, learning it from you, Abe, how to create these. They're original, or as close to original as possible. But that's how I, came came up with the layout there, the photo.
Mhm. Yep. So this is this is a image that was created on ChatGPT. So this is fine. For future purposes, I think this is always a good start. Using Canva is always a better solution. For some of you who's watching this, so there's a few tools out there. I'm gonna share with you some free tools out there called Pexel. Pexel.com is a resource that you can actually use to get royalty-free images. I'm putting in the chat. So uh, you never want to pull an image off of Google and use it in your business, because it will come back and it will bite you. So, like, I had an intern, and this is actually worth lesson learned, right? I had an intern, and I said, hey, he was doing graphic design for us, and I said, never use an image you find on Google. And I said, do you understand? He said, yes, I understood. So we go about, and about 6 months later, I get an email from Getty Images. And it said, you use one of our images and you have to pay us $1,200 for the image that you used. And I said, no, I don't believe we use any images from Getty, because we're very proactive in making sure that we use royalty-free images, or we pay for our images. And they said, this is the image and this is where you used it on your website. I said, wow, okay. So I believe that you've got the evidence right there. Let me find out. So I talked to the intern, and he said, no, Abe, I never use an image from Google. I didn't do it. And I said, so if you use the royalty-free websites, what keywords did you use? So he gave me the keywords. And I said, okay. So I took the keywords that he gave me and I put it on Google. And sure enough, on the first page, the image was there on the first page. So I told the intern, I said, I'm going to pay for this image. The next time it's coming from your paycheck. And so what we did was I asked Getty that I admitted that, yes, it was our mistake. And I said, please, reduce this amount, because our intern did it. We was able to find what happened. And so they reduced it from $1,200 to $700. It was the most expensive pictures I've ever paid for in the history of pictures. Even my wedding pictures didn't cost, for one picture, did not cost $700. So very expensive lesson. But use pixels. My point is, use pixels. Make sure you're using royalty-free images. Another resource outside of Pexels is this here. It's called Pixabay. Pixabay.com. I'm put this here in the chat so that all of you who are looking to create images for your website, to create images for your marketing documents, PowerPoints, it doesn't matter, use this here. And then the last resource, there's many other resources out there, but these three I use consistently. And unsplash.com is another one. So you can come in here and you can look for all the images. Now, there are some ads in here, and some of them are paid. And so look for the ones that's, like anything that has a plus sign, that means it's paid. But use all the, images that is not paid. So for example, let me go to Pexels, and I'm going to look at Vicky's website. And I'm going to say, if I want to replace it with real people, how do I do that? So I come in here and I can put in here professional and military people in training or in conference room or something like that, right? And so you just have to scroll down and look for, oh, this is Unsplash. Let me go to, I like Pexels and Pixabay a little bit better. Unsplash used to be my preference, but somebody bought them, and so now they're trying to monetize it, and so they're making it, a little bit harder to find what you're really looking for. But the free version, it's harder for you to find. So instead of in training, I'm gonna just put in here professional, take out military, in conference room. So now I have more options, right? So play around with this here and use these resources to kind of help you to create the type of image that you want to create. So let's come back to Vicky's website here. So I'm gonna give you just straight up honest opinion, no sugarcoating or anything like that, Vicky, so that you can take it for, it's purely my opinion. So first thing is, I don't like your logo being here because nobody cares about your logo. The message is really what they care about. And so the first thing you want them to see is an image with a message, whatever that message is. And management consulting, business coaching, leadership training, this is more from your perspective. And so when you're building a website, typically you want to build it from how they will see your website. So that's the angle you really want to address it from, how they will see your website, not how you see your website presented to them. So what I would do is I would take your logo, I move it to the very top left corner here, or maybe somewhere in here next to home, or the very top up here on the white space up here. So that's how I would restructure your logo. Here I will put in there, instead of management consulting, business coaching, leadership training, I would message it something where the first header here would be, we help move organizations forward, or something like that, or something that speaks to them versus about you. Anytime you do that, it's always best. Let me share with you, this company, they did a good job on it. I'm coaching this company, and they did a great job on how they message. So you come in here, your success is our business. And so they speak of it from the perspective of the reader, not them, right? Because they're speaking that that's what we're about. Our primary goal is to ensure your success by providing quality product services. And so they're speaking to them. If you go to why us, your business is our why, your success, your goals, your feedback, your expectations, your challenges. So when you're speaking, when somebody comes in here and they understands that you're interested in them and supporting them, it's a stronger message. There's no right or wrong. You can say your message however you want, but when your audience addresses, they know that you're addressing them and you're centric and focus on them, it's a stronger message. So just some feedback here. And then coming in here, I think adding a image that goes from side to side is better than a center image like this here. And then I see, about Alpha Professional Services. You got, our services, our approach. You may even want to put your approach first, because your approach speaks to them. Your services may be less secondary to your approach. So it may be worth swapping that out. I see you got some pictures of you in action, which is awesome. So I think this is a good start. Now, the key thing is your government tab. For all of you who are getting your business ready for the government market, your brand is all about, on your website, it's all about communicating to your audience, which is the government. And so you need to have a government tab. And same thing here. I would, instead of all this text, I will put an image up here. The first thing you want people to see is an image. We are in a short attention span. So in because people have very short attention span, what you want to do is you want to give them a quick image to draw them, to connect them to your message here. And we say that a picture is worth 1,000 words, right? And so a picture is worth 1,000 words. There is truth to that. So having a picture to welcome people to the here will be ideal. And then you've got your UEI, DUNS number, case number here, and you got some photo galleries here. I think AI, again, I would use more real video versus just AI. AI is good for certain use case. Like you might want to have one AI picture in here, but again, real people is always stronger than just AI images. Um, and then you have a video placeholder for your capability video here. And then you have a download capability statement here. Okay, so this is a good start. It still a lot more work to do, but let me say this here, Vicky, great job on getting to this point here. Done is better than perfect. Now, some people say you always strive for perfection. Absolutely, you should. But having something done is better than, oh, I don't have a website. And so you definitely want to make sure that you have something up before you actually can get your business going. So, all right, so that's and there's more work to be done here. We'll continue to work offline and address this here some more. But with that, let's shift to Thaddeus. So Thaddeus, tell me where you are on your branding, your government contracting journey, and give me a little bit more perspective of where you are, and then let's get your business more procurement ready as well.
Yes, I'm currently at the stage where I've created a website, but I do not like it. It doesn't look in the fashion that I really want it to look at, to really have that look and feel. And so I'm looking to change it, looking to completely do an overhaul. And so that's where I'm at. My capability statement, I'm working it, and it is almost finished. I would like to believe that it's done, but there's probably a few things, if you look at it, that you will probably point out and say, okay, well, we need to work on this. So I'm not 100% there yet. I think I have about a maybe 90% product. The website is probably maybe a 50% product. After looking at Vicky's website, I think that I definitely need more work. And so any advice or pointers or anything that you can point me in the right direction, I'd greatly appreciate it.
Yeah, I think there's lots of different resources out there. And I think where you're at, if you are not familiar with how to develop your own website, I would say use Wix.com. Wix is one of the best resources out there. And I built multiple websites on Wix. If you're not a strong program, I don't recommend using WordPress now, because WordPress, if you do it yourself, is more complex. If you're doing it yourself, use Wix.com. If you do have a web developer helping you, then WordPress is more powerful. It gives you more capabilities. There's more plugins. There's more things, more flexibility into the future. Wix is starting to build up a lot of stronger tools and plugins and other things to it. So, but Wix is probably the most friendly tool out there. Let me share quickly, and I'm not. We're going to move on from website and so forth, but let me share quickly in terms of one example of a website that some of you can model after. If you're new, this is a good example. And we, as it turns out, Thaddeus and I have this friend in common. So this is a gentleman. He is deployed overseas right now, but he says, Abe, I'm going to come back to the States. Can you coach me, help me get my business going so that when I come back to the States, I'm ready. I'm ready to do government contracts. So this is a good example of a very simple 5-page website. Now there's lots of other more robust websites out there, but this is a very simple example of a website that you can get up and going in 1 week or less. So you come in here, you have powered by experience, driven by values. You got an image here. Arcola Global, that's why he has a picture of a globe here. They do cybersecurity, they do cloud solutions, they do IT infrastructure. They want to team with business and so forth. And then they have the services. They have the government tab. The government tab has their capability video. It has their NAICS codes here, their UEI number here, and download their capability statement. Their primary is this, and then all these are all the other NAICS code, and then their past performances here. So this is a very simple website. Anyone can get this up very quickly. Arcola Global. I'll put it into the chat area if you guys want to model after a website that you can say, okay, what's a good website that speaks to government buyers? And this is an example of that there. And then that is, if you could send me your capability statement and then I'll review it and give you some more feedback on it. With that, we're gonna assign some other things. So we talked about your capability video, and let's shift gears a little bit. So I want both of you to create a capability video script. There are some examples. I'm going to put some examples of capability videos. So I'm going to put this here. Just help this young lady, create her capability video. She has a 2-minute version, a 3-minute version. So I want you to use these videos as samples of what is a capability video and model after this here. I want you to read through the script, create your script, and then what we'll do is we'll talk about, you can see that, you talk about your NAICS codes in here and different things. So create your script. This is an example of capability statement or capability video. Oops. Let me come back here. See sample capability videos. Now, if you're joining us, joining us live here, let me know if you have a capability video. And for those of you that do have a capability video, let us know. If you don't have a capability video, I put the link into the to some sample capability videos. So use that as a resource to help you. Now, there is a script, and it's on row 436. So I'm going to go up to row 436, and we're going to look at a script. So 436. So we created, there's some other resources here. So this is a sample capability video script here. I'm going to put this in. And so next week when we get together, Vicky and Thaddeus, I want to review your capability video script. This is an example. I'm going to look at it quickly. Use this, listen to this here, and see how she did it. I like the way she did it. Now, the script that I gave, this is a very personable, individual approach to how to create a script. And so this is that script there. I put it into the chat if you are looking for a script use the chat area and look at the script there. But this is a script, and you see, add your NICS code, add your UEI number, whatever certification your business have, what you specialize in. If you have any vehicles, GSA schedules, big IDIQ contracts, put that here. What sets you apart, your differentiators, your past performances, and then summarize it. And then at the very end, you want to have a little call to action here. So, but these are good examples right here. So we are towards the end here. So at this time here, I want to open up questions to Vicky and Thaddeus. What questions do you have? And then we're going to open up to all of you joining us live here also. What questions do you have so that we can address your specific situations?
Actually, I don't have any questions. That was a lot of information that is really needed on my part, so that I can continue updating my website and start working on my capability video.
Mm-hmm.
Same here. Right now, I'm just absorbing everything. A lot of great information, and so I'm sure our next meeting I'll have a ton of questions to ask. I'll be leaning forward and creating that capability script and working on my website as well.
Yep.
So that's where I'll be standing.
Okay. Awesome. Yeah, because I want to move beyond branding, right? Because we've got a lot of other things to talk about in these sessions here. And so in this podcast here, what we're doing is we're taking Thaddeus' company and Vicky's company, and we're taking it from the very beginning, creating a brand that's going to help you win $1 million contract. So we're going to start from right there. And right now we're still kind of stuck at the branding, the foundation a little bit, but we're going to move as fast as we can to the point where I'm going to teach and show you how to find opportunities, how to prepare for opportunities, how to network, how to build relationships with larger companies, how to add past performances. So we still got a lot of things ahead of us. And so the sooner you can get some of these infrastructure things done, the faster we can get to contracts. So, so work on it, be diligent about it. And I'm looking forward to reviewing your content. Send over your capability statement to me, Thaddeus. I'll review it offline, and then work on your capability video. And here's why your video is important. In 2012, 2013, people started accessing the internet from a cell phone and a tablet more so than from a desktop or a laptop. As such, the real estate is really small, right? We got small real estate now. It's easier to hit a play button video versus squeezing, pinching, trying to get your PDF capability statement big enough so that they can see. Better to click a video than that right there. And then next week, what we'll do is we'll talk about taking your script, how to create a video out of it, and then we'll move on, and I'll show you tools that you can use if you do it yourself, and then also how to do it at a very low, affordable price. So we'll address that next week. So with that, any questions from our audience? I think there were some comments earlier. Let me see if there's any other questions. Effie says, can you show me how to create a banner? Because I was always, because I have, so how do you create a banner to the size of what it needs to be? So let me share my screen a little bit here. Let's talk about that. How to create a banner. Share my screen. Now, I am like all of you. I am not super techie, but as an entrepreneur, I had to learn all these things, right? I learned how to create my own images. I learned how to build websites. I learned how to do marketing. Some of it I found online mentors. They don't know that they're my mentors, but I have online mentors. I invest in going to webinars, taking some Udemy classes, different things like that to keep equipping myself. And so as an entrepreneur, you have to equip yourselves. Now, one of the tools that you want to use to create images is canva.com. And so we went on here. Let's assume that you want to create a favicon. A favicon is a little button that the little picture that is on the browser tab here. Assuming you want to create a favicon, you see Arcola, it's kind of small, but on their website, they have this little image favicon up here. Most favicon, I think, is like 90 pixel by 90 pixel. So you come in here and you want to customize a size. So if they say the image has to be 90 by 90, you type in here 90 width by 90, and you create. So now you get this little square image here, and then you want to upload. So I'm going to upload a image, my logo as an example. So I'm going to use this here because it's got more space. So now I've got it in here. So now I've got my favicon, and it's 90 by 90, and I can use it. I can save it. Now that I've done that, I can just come in here, go to here, download it, and download it. Typically for favicon, you want to download as a JPEG, not a PNG. And the reason for it is the PNG saves it on a higher resolution, whereas JPEG compresses it a little bit more. And so that's why you want to do it for a favicon. For micro images, you want to do that. So that's one way. Let me come in here and look at, for those of you who's joining us, we do have a capability statement on here. Let me pull it up, and I'm going to give you guys a bonus here. So where's all my images? I'm trying to get back to it. Where is it? Let me find it. See, here it is. So where is that? Here it is. So this is a sample capability statement. And if you guys are looking for a template, I'm going to see if I can share it. Anyone with the link can view. So I'm going to put this sample capability statement, and especially Thaddeus, you're working yours if you want to redesign it a little bit. Now the question is, how do you create an image like right here that's not, that is not pixelated and stuff like that, or that's not stretched? Sometimes it's stretched because you just didn't do it properly, and so by using Canva, you can always use it to adjust and so forth. So use this here. I'm going to put this in the chat for all of you. And you can come into Canva and then save it as your own. I'm allowing all of you to be a user on it or to be a viewer on it. So, and then we got time for one last question. Any question that came in via?
No. Oh, yes. Yes. Somebody was asking Thaddeus and Vicky if you can go back in time. Do you see that one?
Yes. If you can go back in time, what would you change about you in your journey that you can recommend to us? Okay. So this is a question from Andre to Vicky and Thaddeus. So the audience asked, what are some lessons learned in the short time that you've been in the government market, and share your experiences and some lessons learned to everybody else.
Well, my lesson learned is get Abe as a coach. He's full of knowledge, and I wish I would have done this sooner, because I'm still learning, and it's a great privilege to be able to take the course and then also have him as a coach, and just absorb as much information as you can.
Yeah, this is your second time around. Tell us a little about your first time, and this is your second time around. So give a little bit background, because I think that's important for people to understand a little bit.
My first time around, I had a construction company, and I just, I was getting all of these government contracts coming into me. I had no clue what they were. I had quite a few certifications during that time, but had no clue whatsoever about government contract. I went to actually, I don't know if they were still, if they've changed over to Apex, or if they were still going under the old name, but I learned about capability statement and the business, how my business card would have been, but that was as far as I went. These contracts were like 950 to over 1,000 pages. And I'm like, how am I supposed to bid on one? I was getting 5 to 10 of them a week. And that was crazy. And I was just like, I don't even know where to begin. And, the second time around, actually going through this, knowing what to look for in those bids makes it, it's a game changer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because it is a journey, right? You're not going to figure it out the first time around. And so I'm glad you didn't quit and you decide, you know what, I didn't get to as far as I wanted to at the beginning, but now I'm getting help and I'm going to do this here. And so good. Thaddeus?
To piggyback off of what Vicky said, it's a lot of information. A lot of information. And so trying to absorb everything, you're going to need some help in this arena. And so, Abe, your organization is invaluable. And so I learned about your organization and government contracting while deployed in Afghanistan, working with a friend of mine, and we discussed it, but I never really thought about moving into it until I retired out of the military. And once I retired out of the military, I was in some briefings, and they explained this avenue that I could take where there's these additional benefits that will be afforded to me if I chose to go that route. And so I put more thought into it. But once I got into it, I realized, man, this is a lot of information. I'm going to need some help. And so once I got on the road, I realized with Apex Accelerators, as well as your organization, there is tons of help out there for you. It's just how bad do you really want to do this? And it's something I absolutely want to do more than anything. I think that it is perfect for me in my transition. And I wouldn't change a thing. It's just the amount of information that you have to absorb and understand in this realm. And so that's the one thing, just taking my time, making sure that I understand everything, and I'm not rushing the process. I do want to get to where I need to go, but I want to do it right. And I want to make sure that it's done in a fashion that I'm learning as well as progressing through it. So I would say the information, underestimating the amount of information, the amount of learning that it takes to take on this entrepreneurial task.
Yeah, it's a process. You have to learn a new language. You have to learn a new culture. You have to learn the ABCs of it, the rules and the regulations. And so it is a process. You're not going to get there overnight. And I say this to all of you, it's not a matter of if you will win a contract, but when you win a contract. And the only companies that don't succeed in the government market are those that quit along the way. So if you're listening, you're joining us here, do not quit. Do what Vicky did. The first time around, she says, man, I got in here, I'm just confused. She pushed through. And so now this is her second time in the rodeo. This is the time where she's actually investing into herself to learn, to speak this language, understand the culture. You have to do that. You're not going to come into the government market and think it's going to be a piece of cake. It's possible to get lucky on a contract, but you cannot repeat that success. So the only way you're going to be successful long-term is you have to invest in this industry here. You will get there. Vicky and Thaddeus, thanks for joining us. All of you online, thanks for joining us this week here in terms of Win Government Contract Podcast. Really had a good time enjoying all this here with you. Continue, come back. If you're watching this on replay, click on the notification bell so that we go live every single week. Wednesday, 11:30 Eastern time. That's Eastern time. And we do that every single week. Last week, we did take a week off because I had some family emergency. So Thaddeus and Vicky, thanks for your understanding. But we will be back here next week. And unless it's a federal holiday, outside of that, we will be here every Wednesday. Until then, we will see you another episode, and good luck, and see you very soon. Take care, everybody. Have a good one.